Okay, inside we've got a variety of very high-grade parts, as you can see, starting with the high-grade glass fiber circuit board rather than the impregnated paper that Fender used in their more famous amplifiers of vintage. Starting on this side with the electrolytic caps and the power supply, if you note the writing here, rather than use standard 85-degree caps, Ceriatone chooses to use premium quality 105-degree caps. In addition to which, the famous orange drop capacitors are the 418 series, higher quality, better tone. In select areas, we're using carbon comp resistors where they make sense, and using film resistors where they make sense. Each one has benefits, and each one is being used where it most benefits the amplifier. Start on the wiring. The wiring, as you can see, is meticulously laid out everywhere in the amplifier. Certain things bear close observation. For example, the 6.3 volt filament wiring is kept far away from everything else, put into a corner where it's less likely to cause interference. Anywhere on the high quality,
you mean less noise,
nylon insulated leads,
yeah.
Anywhere these high quality nylon insulated wires go past the 6.3 volt filament wiring, they do so at a 90-degree angle. This eliminates the possibility of interference traveling from the filament wiring into any of the signal carrying leads. The signal leads themselves are beautifully terminated. You can see this is a coaxial cable, and at this end the shield is isolated where it picks up signal from the tube, and on this end the shield is terminated here to help keep noise out of the amplifier. Starting over here, the signal tubes are very nicely protected both physically and electrically with these spring-loaded bayonets. The tube sockets themselves are high-grade military spec, Michael-X. The tubes are made by TAD, which is a company known as the Tube Amp Doctor from Germany. All of the hardware is correctly chosen for the work that it has to do, holding down the tube sockets or holding down the transformers. And in the case of the power and rectifier tubes, we've got these nice high-quality Belton spring-loaded tube keepers that prevent the tubes, which are inverted in normal operation, securely mounted in their sockets. The tubes themselves are matched. These are matched by a company called Ruby. This is a JJ6V6 tube. By matching the output tubes, you're better able to control the performance of the amplifier. It gives you repeatable results. And here we have the famous GZ34 rectifier tube. Rectifier tube takes the AC that comes from the high voltage side of the power supply transformer, and it splits it up into DC, which is what is required to operate the tubes.
About the rectifier tubes, how does it actually change the sound or the feel of the amp when you play it?
In an amplifier like this, which uses two output tubes, it's known as a push-pull circuit. In a push-pull circuit, the benefits of a rectifier tube is the ability of the tube to create a phenomenon known as sag. Sag is actually a shortcoming in the design of the rectifier circuit, whereby it's not able to keep up with the demands of the output side, and it causes a compression of the sound, which guitarists have found to be highly desirable over the years. On the high voltage side, the tube rectifier gets 325 volts plus and minus from the power supply transformer, runs into our rectifier, which also receives 5 volts on its filaments to make it operate properly. This turns the AC power coming in from the wall into DC, which is filtered through our previously mentioned high quality capacitors and provides the operating voltage for the rest of the amplifier. In addition to having a tube rectifier in the amp, Ceriatone mounts these two solid-state rectifiers so that in the event of a failure of the tube rectifier, there is no damaging voltage able to go through the rest of the amplifier and spoil your day. This blue disc here is a metal oxide varistor, which is designed to prevent voltage spikes from reaching the inside of the amplifier. So if there was a thunderstorm and your local utility doesn't provide very good protection, this little guy here will sacrifice itself rather than allow your amplifier to be blown to smithereens. Another thing to note is where other big name companies choose to simply fold their amplifier chassis together, Ceriatone actually welds all their seams, as you can see here. This makes for an amplifier chassis that's very flex-free, robust. It's designed to last and last and last. In addition to being welded, the chassis itself has this fetching golden hue, which is cadmium plating. This prevents rust and corrosion from destroying the amplifier chassis.